These are PowerPoint slides, part 2. My original video was cut off, so I'm beginning from where I left off with the previous video. So this was a collaborative project done with preschool students, and once the students printed their hands, I pieced together in all different ways, so each placemat that was made are a little bit different. So these were made actually as a teacher gift. So again, I put my quilting skills to use with some painting to make these quilted mats for a teacher gift. This is a really special project. This was at the beginning also of my quilting when I was working small, as I was kind of trying to perfect my skills. So this was an applique design done with a fusible technique to design the ladies. I did use a pattern for this. But this is actually supposed to be my grandmother and her 3 sisters, and I used all of her fabrics to mimic the dress that they used to wear. My grandmother on the far right, actually, that was a very similar dress that she was wearing in the picture that I started with, where I was in my bathing suit sewing. She wore that one all the time. So this is kind of a memory, fun piece all at the same time. And then the reverse side is all of those fabrics that I used for their dresses to create this log cabin style background. So this is about, I think it's about an 18-inch square. And I made this one a wall hanging. So my mom actually has this one hanging at her place in my grandmother's bedroom that was at my mom's house. So these are 2 quilts that I worked on collaboratively with some women at church. And the one on the far right is a digital image of what the quilt looks like. I couldn't find my picture of the finished piece. So a lot of my art making is in conjunction with others. I really enjoy working with others, learning from others. I feel like there's always new techniques and different ways and tricks that a typical seamstress encounters and troubleshoots throughout their sewing journey. Sometimes it's with the actual sewing machine. Sometimes there's tricks of the trade as far as ways to cut fabric, to cut down on time that certain techniques take. So I wanted to share these quilts that I made collaboratively with others. And sometimes that's almost the medicine we need to be interacting with others. Because typically when you're sewing and you're making, it really is more of a solo type of craft. And it is beneficial to take time to make, even if you're making independently, in a group versus making a collaborative project. There are benefits to those types of relationships and working time. Now I'm going to jump to my original college days at Framingham State College at the time, but now it's Framingham State University, and just briefly go through some of my portfolio images and talk about my experience there. So in addition to my clothing and textiles courses, I also minored in art. There were quite a few requirements with fashion illustration and color and other such things to round out the making. So this is a mood inspiration board collaged to inspire the gowns on the right that were designed, and fabric swatches were purchased to envision what these gowns would look like made. The bottom is a spec tech, kind of a fun, creative piece designed to be sewn out of tape measures or with the tape measure fabric, as seen below. So there are many pieces of working with textiles beyond the actual construction, where there's planning and ideation and experimenting with different materials before you actually move forward to construction. The next slide, there are 4 pieces that I designed, sourced materials for, developed patterns through draping and flat pattern drawing, that I then produced the products. So Poker Party was really fun. It was kind of a found object making, where I kind of looked around to see what I had, and that dress was constructed from sequin fabric and actual poker chips. The dress on the right was constructed of just a cotton print, where I created, like I said, the patterns for all of these garments. Then on the bottom is a peacoat that was all done by hand, other than the basic construction stitches, but all of the details were done by hand. And then Reflective Nights is a warm-up suit lined with polar fleece that I designed and constructed, and I actually won a contest for that piece. That my professor had entered me into a contest for this particular garment. And I need to find some of the writing pieces that went along with it. So that was really a start to finish, and then entered into a competition. And I believe my model's name is Raina. I couldn't quite remember her name since it has been so many years, but she was really tall and looked so fantastic in all of my pieces that she was super generous to model my work for me. And all of these garments I do still have in my possession. And then this last piece from my days at Framingham was super special. My professor was contracted by a costume company looking for someone to design some Titanic pieces to keep in their costume collection. It was a rental place that if you were going to a party, you would go to this place to rent, various themed costumes. So this was kind of a start to finish, where I researched the costume of the time period. I saw the Titanic movie, my goodness, probably like 8 to 10 times over and over and over again to study this dress. And then I spent countless hours in various fabric stores, searching for the right materials to duplicate the style and look that this dress had in the movie. So you can see a front and a rear view of the completed garment. And then I am actually the model for this piece. So this piece is owned by this costume company located in Arlington, Mass. So I really would be curious to see if that dress was still available for rental and if it held up all these years. But that was a really special piece that I created during my time at Framingham. So collectively, I have had, many years of experience, many years of working with different materials. I've had various stages of items that I've enjoyed making. There are many things that I made once and never made again. I always feel like my process is evolving, and I'm, looking for new and exciting things. I'm looking to learn from others. But I feel like my comfort zone is for sure, working with my hands and any type of textile material. Thank you for listening to my presentation of my slides. I hope you enjoyed all of the images and listening to me talk about my process.